What's going on, guys? So if you've watched my channel for a while, you probably know by now that I go out and try to find creative, unique, and different solutions to problems that folks who own RVs, trailers, and trucks often have to deal with. And in front of you, you're looking at just a small sample of some things that I've accumulated over a period of time just to figure out different solutions for issues that folks might deal with. An example of that might not normally be obvious to some folks would be like this air wick, right? I got this kit of Airwick refills, 9 refills from Sam's Club. Super affordable. I also had the opportunity to pick up a ton of these because they were giving these out, like by the bucket load if you got these. And I found out really quickly that this might actually be a really good solution to keep rodents out of your RV, believe it or not. The lavender and chamomile fragrances are not smells that rodents like. So if you have an RV that has a standard wall plug in it, maybe putting a couple of these inside of your RV might be an additional step to potentially keeping rats and rodents out of your RV. And this is something that's super affordable. And these little fragrance pods last quite a bit of time, up to 80 days per bottle. So this is a really affordable way to make your RV smell good while at the same time potentially deterring rodents. And this is something that I've been testing. It's been something I've been evaluating. And I've actually gone through 2 packages of these 9-pack refills in the process of testing this out. And even if it doesn't work, it makes your RV smell fantastic. So I prefer the lavender chamomile because I'm being told that lavender is a smell that rodents do not like. And it definitely can create a really, really pungent smell inside of your RV. So you definitely want to be aware of that. I actually have put them inside of my shop lately as well, and when my wife comes in the shop, she's like, man, it smells really, really good in here. But let's talk about some of this other stuff in the main point of the video today. Hang tight, I'll be right back. All right, so like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I am all about trying to find solutions to problems that the average RVer, the average trailer hauler, the average truck owner, SUV owner, and just folks in general are looking for. And I am one of those folks that just scours through Amazon. I go through my channel partner, eTrailer.com. And I'm always looking for an alternative way to possibly use something, or even the correct way of using something in a slightly different manner. And we'll talk about that here in a second when we go over some of this stuff. So what you're looking at in front of you is, again, kind of an accumulation of things that I've put together to test to see if they work in a way that helps me out whenever I'm trying to accomplish a task. An example of that might be these pins right here, right? These are traditional Clevis pins, or pins that you might see on a tractor to pin things in place. And I got these because I was looking for kind of an alternative way of putting a traditional lock on the back of my hitch. The Gen Y that I have, it's the Mega Hitch, and it has these really large pins, and they're beautifully well machined. I mean, they just look absolutely gorgeous. They say Gen Y on the back. But they use these standard pins like this. And I know that I've featured a lot of locking pins from the folks over at Infinite Rule. But what I was trying to do here was find a way to put a different type of lock on that might not protrude out the end so far and give somebody possibly the opportunity to put a bar on it and break it off. So I went online and I found these Brinks outdoor locks, and these are the kind of anti-cut locks, the ones that are just a little bit more difficult. And I found out that these fit perfectly into that hole right there. It hangs down off the side like that instead of sticking out off the end. And it seems as if it's a pretty dang good solution, because to get this off, you would really have to hammer the hell out of it or really kind of cut into this over a period of time, and it would be a lot louder than simply putting a pole over the end of a traditional pin lock and trying to break it off. So this is something that I've been testing. I've been using this on my Gen Y Mega Hitch for a while just to see how well it works. If it works well, I'm going to ask the folks over at Gen Y. Maybe they can make a larger hole here at the end to put a lock through, or perhaps come up with a different type of slightly lower profile solution that secures the hitch head into the body of the Mega Hitch. But again, just things that I test. I've even tested out these large stainless steel bolts and different ideas related to that. Okay, so let's talk about these real quick and what they're actually designed to be used for. So these are Cat 1 top link pins. They're 3/4 inches in diameter, and they're designed to pin a Category 1 tractor hitch in place. So these slide through the very top, and then you put a pin here at the end. And they happen to be the same diameter as the Gen Y pins for the Mega Hitch. Now you can get these in slightly smaller diameters, like 5/8 inch, for your standard hitch pin right here. But what I'm trying to do here today is see if, again, there's a way to lock these up in a bit of a more low profile manner. Again, I use a lot of infinite roll products because they're absolutely fantastic, but they stick off the end quite a bit, and they potentially leave your hitch vulnerable to someone who's going to try to hammer it off or break it off, because people have said that's happened before with any type of locking hitch pin. So the purpose here is to create something that might work a little bit better in terms of creating a lower profile yet still highly secure method of fastening your hitch head as well as maybe your pintle attachment in place. So if I wanted to remove this to show you how this works, I would simply pop this pin off, throw the new pin in, we'll put it in from this side, and then you can see it sticks out perfectly off the end right here. I can take my lock right here and position it in place, pull my key out, and check that out. That looks really good actually, and it doesn't stick off the end very much. Plus, it is a pretty dang good theft deterrent because, again, I don't really know of an easy way to remove this aside from picking the lock or completely trying to destroy the lock by hammering it, or I don't really think you'd be able to pry it off per se. I think you would really have to go at this for a while to get it off, or try to grind it or cut it off, of course. But in terms of being low profile, inexpensive, this is a pretty cool solution. Now, what's really nice about these pins is that I got 4 of them for $15. $15.50, something like that, which makes them incredibly affordable, even though these are steel pins. So these are grade 5 steel pins, which still give you like a 40 or 60,000 pound shear strength. So I don't think you're ever going to deal with one of these actually breaking. But these are standard steel pins, which means they can start to rust. Right, I had to grind them down a little bit around the opening because there were some burrs and some stuff sticking off the end here that just did not work well whenever you're trying to first put them in, but that took no time at all. And that's really the area you see that's rusting here a little bit, is where I took them to the grinder slightly to get rid of some of the burrs there. But between $15.50 for 4 pins and the price of these locks, which was $35 for a 4-pack or $25 for a 2-pack, and they're keyed alike, that's a pretty dang good value because of what you get out of all of this, right? So we're talking probably, let's just say if you get the 4-pack because you want to get a lock for every one of your pins, you're talking about $50 for 4 pins, 4 locks that are keyed alike that actually look pretty dang intimidating, right? If you see something like this, or at least if a thief does or a bad actor, they're probably going to move on to something that looks a little easier to deal with. So that's pretty dang cool. I'm pretty happy with this setup and the price that it costs. If this is something that you may be interested in adding to your Gen Y Mega Hitch, then I'll throw a link in the description so you know where to pick it up. Now, keep in mind, these are 3/4 inch pins. These aren't 5/8 inch thick pins. A 5/8 inch thick pin is the more common pin size to pin to the back of your vehicle. And I'm not 100% sure if they even make something like this in a 5/8 inch thick with the same type of opening that you can fit a padlock into. But this is sure a great solution if you have a Gen Y and you're looking for a more affordable alternative to your traditional hitch pin or your pin lock. So yeah, what do you guys think, right? This is a pretty cool solution, and it's affordable, and it gives you kind of an alternative. Yet, how do you feel about the security aspect of something like that compared to something like this? That's what you really have to question. This is going to stick out like that off of the end, so this is certainly lower profile, but is this going to be something that you would trust over something like this, or is this something that is more of your style in terms of how you like to secure things over perhaps a pin? Or would you prefer a traditional pin lock over this type of a setup? Please let me know. If I could find these in stainless steel, I probably would get them, but I couldn't find them in stainless steel. Maybe I didn't look hard enough. But again, I'll throw a link in the description of the video if this is something you may be interested in. Anyways, guys, if you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you again very, very soon.